Hello, my friends. What's up? It is time for another What's the Tea because there has been a lot going on lately and it feels like a good time for one of these. So, without wasting too much time, let's get right into what's been going on. Not too long ago, we heard from our friends at Pocket Pair, the sworn arch enemy of Nintendo. They announced that Palworld is going to be getting some more DLC and a good update later this year, and in sometime in 2026, they're going to be releasing their game into 1.0. And I'm sure many people are familiar, but during a 1.0 update, that comes with a lot of fixes, lots of quality of life changes, and things like that. So I, for one, am super excited to get into Palworld some more, even though recently I've been playing it again with my girlfriend and some other friends, just because it had been a while. So I am super excited at some more Palworld content coming. Next, I want to talk about Borderlands 4, which I have talked about already. I released an entire video of me basically ranting about the terrible performance of Borderlands 4 and whether I shared my sentiment on social media or if it was on YouTube. There was a bit of a mixed response, with some saying, "Oh, it works fine. Oh, your computer's just under spec," which it is not. Insert other excuse here. Listen, I know folks are really happy with Borderlands 4 and that it is kind of a return to form, and I'm the last person that wanted to shit on this game because I am a die-hard Borderlands fan. Played every single one of them, been playing them since they first came out, started on PS3. So I'm no stranger to this series, but it is also no surprise that Borderlands 4 does not run very well. And it's no surprise that recently folks have also discovered that there is a memory leak issue on console, so the longer you play, the worse the game performs. This is no surprise to me because if you are on PC and you've ever tried to play Borderlands Game of the Year Edition for number 1, you know that that has a massive memory leak, and even with high-spec computers, you'll be dipping well below 30 frames per second when you should be able to run that game at 60 or even 120 FPS or higher, given that it's an older title. And as always, Randy Pitchford is not helping the situation, as he loves to run his mouth on Twitter and say things that put his foot in his mouth. There has been some updates to Borderlands that have upped performance a bit, and they do plan on adding a console FOV slider so that a lot of people can stop having such motion sickness with this zoomed in view that they have going on. And in a surprise update, Helldivers got an update patch that really did not help the game. In fact, it kind of hindered it, and that is if you are battling the bug planets at all. But recently, Helldivers released an update to the game that was the Into the Unjust update, which brought with it a new faction of bug, which was the Rupture strain. And this strain of bug was able to burrow underground and even brought with it a huge hive lord. I'm sure if you've been on any social media or anything involving Helldivers, you've probably seen it. However, there was some big issues shipped with this update, which a recent patch was supposed to be fixing, but they seem to have kind of made matters worse. Before this update, Helldivers were getting called into the caves and getting stuck on top of them with no way down other than to pop a stem and hope for the best. But in trying to fix that, which they did fix you not getting stuck on top, they also broke calling in any stratagems in the caves, along with reinforcements also kind of working. And on top of that, recently there was a bug with one of the warrior classes that dug underground, and when it popped out, it would absolutely home in no matter where you were, what you were doing, jetpacking, warpacking, whatever, the warrior would get you on the way out. But this unavoidable attack really only affected the host of the game, and that's mostly because Helldivers is a peer-to-peer kind of game with its connections. However, with the new patch, they kind of fixed the network issues, so now everybody in the party gets to deal with these homing warriors, as I've been calling them. So naturally, the player base did not react very well to this news and to this gameplay modification. So Helldivers and Arrowhead are now rolling back some of the Unjust update and taking the Rupture strain offline here soon, and it will be gone for about 5 months before returning. Hopefully this gives them the time to fix the rupture strain and all of the issues that were introduced with the new update. Because other than the issues, I absolutely enjoyed this update, and I thought it was one of the best times to be playing Helldivers in the first place, especially with all the new Xbox divers who, in my experience, have been a joy to play with. In other news you may have heard about, Hollow Knight Silksong has come out, and it absolutely crushed everything, and when I say crushed, I mean it, as the Microsoft Store, the PSN, the Nintendo Switch eShop, everywhere was just offline with how many people got on at once to pick this game up. And then it broke a 500,000 plus concurrent player count on Steam. This is a wild success, and even though there has been a few controversies with it being a little too difficult in some people's eyes, and some people thinking it just feels like more Hollow Knight, which duh, it was meant to be a DLC first, and that's kind of what people wanted, was more Hollow Knight. But it's doing great, and I wish the best for Team Cherry because this looks like a great success for them. And while we're here talking about it, I will confess a sin that I have never played Hollow Knight. Well, that's not entirely true. I just started playing Hollow Knight. I had never played it before. But with all the buzz surrounding Silksong, my curiosity hit its peak, and I just couldn't put it off no longer. So right now I am working my way through Hollow Knight and having a blast, and I cannot wait to get through to Silksong. And when that happens, I will definitely make videos on what I thought about both Hollow Knight and Silksong, and maybe a third one just talking about how I viewed them as a whole after completion. Be on the lookout for those in the future. So now we come to the end of this video, but I wanted to lay out some upcoming games that I am definitely looking forward to in the future, because I may be picking up a few of these to make some videos on, and I like to let people know that they are coming out, because these are some bangers that I think are coming out pretty soon. First up, at the time of recording, this comes out tomorrow, and that's Dying Light: The Beast. This comes out the 18th, and it's the actual sequel to the first Dying Light, being as the main character, Kyle Crane, is back at the forefront, and he has his own, werehog style mechanic. If you've played Sonic Unleashed, you know what I mean, where he can just kind of unleash the beast, very on the nose, and turn into a hulking zombie mass that can just smash the hell out of things. So I'm very much looking forward to this, because Techland have talked about how they were trying to go back to form with the same feel of the first Dying Light. If you played Dying Light 1 and 2, you'll know that 2 felt extremely different from the first. Different kinds of physics and just different vibe overall. And I think a lot of us really missed the vibe of the first Dying Light. So we all enjoyed number 2, but we really wanted to return to that. And so this is Techland bringing us back to that first Dying Light feel. Hopefully this one turns out great. I'm really looking forward to it. Recently announced, there was also Hades 2. I love Hades 1. It's one of the few roguelikes that I actually really got into. I loved the game. The gameplay was snappy, the art style was immaculate, and the story content in that was actually fantastic, especially being it was a roguelike game. This comes out the 25th, and that is a hell of a day to come out, because it is shared by another banger game that I'm also looking forward to, and that's Silent Hill F. So recently I just started playing Silent Hill 2 Remake, and I am enjoying the hell out of that, and it really does feel like a kind of comeback story for Konami, even though myself and Konami are not on very good terms. I'm a Kojima fanboy, what can I say? But Silent Hill F also looks like a fantastic title coming from Konami. And this one, on tone and setting alone, separates itself from the rest. This one is set in Japan. I know that's wild, a game made by Japanese folks being actually set in Japan, but every single other Silent Hill has been based in America. So I'm really looking forward to what this one does to really stir up the formula, and from what I've seen of the gameplay, it looks beautiful and it looks fantastic when it comes to vibe, atmosphere, and just overall presentation. And the last thing I wanted to bring up is the remaster of sorts of Final Fantasy Tactics, the Iblis Chronicles. This is the remake of the beloved Final Fantasy Tactics, which I played on PSP. Wow, that makes me feel old. That was a while ago. But this looks really good, and I can't wait to play it on the go with my Legion, to just get lost in this game again, no matter where I'm at. But that brings us to the end of the video. I know the video cadence has been a bit sporadic lately, big gaps between some, smaller gaps between others, but hopefully here soon the cadence of video does kind of go back to normal. Thanks so much for everyone who has stuck by me and who has stuck by to come and visit all the videos and watch and hear what I had to say about some certain things. I am just thankful for anybody's viewership, especially on these What's the Teas. They don't get pushed out as often as my other videos, so thank you so much if you made it to the end of this video. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for your viewership, and I will talk to you next time. Peace.